Welcome back to Daily Bible Promises with a Twist. If you're wondering what the twist is, follow the arrow. It'll lead you to an I. That I will lead you to a playlist, and the very first video in the playlist explains this all. But we're going to be reading today from 1 Corinthians 14:33, and the Bible card that I am reading today only gives half the verse. So I'm going to read the whole verse in another translation. God is not a God of disorder, but of peace. That's 1 Corinthians 14, verse 33a. And I'm going to be using, instead of the NASB today, because the NASB basically says the same thing, but adds on the whole verse. But I'm going to be reading from the Passion Translation today. So let's go to 1 Corinthians 14, verse 13. For God is a God of harmony, not confusion, as is the pattern in all the churches of God's holy believers. So why does Paul tack on that second clause, part B, so to speak? The church of Corinth obviously was in the city of Corinth, and Corinth was known across the Roman Empire as being a city where everything goes. There were gods and statues everywhere. Even the Jewish converts were heavily influenced by the culture of their city. And they had incorporated some of that type of worship into their Jewish faith. So Paul is addressing a specific issue in the Corinthian church that we can learn from today, but we need to remember where this was being written from, who was written to, and why it was being written. I strongly encourage you, if you're reading chapter 14, first read chapter 12 and 13 and have a full grasp of those three chapters, because they need to be studied together as one. Paul was basically addressing this church, particular church, because of the fact that they were coming from a culture of anything goes. Whatever floats your boat, it's okay to worship this person and that God. All roads meet to heaven. Does that sound familiar? So Paul is addressing that anything goes issue. And so he's talking in chapter 14 about order. Is he doing this because he wants to stop the flow of the Holy Spirit? No. He is saying this because he wants a container where the Holy Spirit can move. And in one way that container needs to be built is to have harmony and honor and respect, that no gender, no person, no particular spiritual gift has the right to overpower and dominate and stop others from receiving and others from giving from the gifts that God has given them. It doesn't seem to be an issue in the other churches because Paul doesn't address this issue in the other churches. So the next time that you are amongst a bunch of other Christians, whether you're out for lunch with friends, whether it's a church meeting discussing an issue the whole church needs to interact in, or if you're on social media, remember this passage. So take your time, speak in order, listen to what other people have to say, value their input, value their gift, and let go of any pride and arrogance. Be loving, be patient, and listen well.